Hey, it's your girl, your favorite paralegal, aka Cassandra Lynn, and welcome to Legal Doc Talk 24/7. Hope you guys are having an awesome Saturday. So, we're going to start in regards to an update in the wrongful death lawsuit of Shanquella Robinson. As you all are aware, her mother filed a lawsuit against multiple defendants, the Cabo Six, as well as the FBI and the State Department. We all know, what Cabo Six, what their role was in, but when it came to the FBI and the State Department, uh, the mother did feel, and as do all of us, that they did not do what they were supposed to do in seeking that the Cabo Six paid for what their involvement was in her untimely unaliving when she was in Mexico. Um, this update is crazy. If you have not heard, the FBI and the State Department, the U.S. State Department, they filed a motion to dismiss the case. Now it's confusing because I don't know if they're trying to dismiss the case entirely or if they're just trying to dismiss and remove themselves from the lawsuit, just leaving the Cabo Six. It's very hard to tell, but I'm definitely going to kind of break it all down once I review the pleadings that have been filed. Um, So let me see. Where do I want to start? Let me just pull it up. Yeah, it's crazy. I went last night to check this out, and I was like, "You have to be kidding me right now." But it is happening. So let's start with the federal defendant's motion to dismiss. It reads that comes now the United States of America on behalf of the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the United States Department of State. Hereinafter, federal defendants by and through Dina J. King, United States Attorney for the Western District of New York. I said New York, Lord. I'm doing too many Diddy cases. District of North Carolina, and moves to dismiss the verified amended complaint filed in the civil action for lack of subject matter jurisdiction pursuant to the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 12, paragraph B1, and for failure to state a claim upon which relief may be granted pursuant to Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 12, paragraph B6. In the support of this motion, the federal defendants provide a memorandum of law. So I'm going to break it down at the end, but let me get through the actual pleadings and then break it down at the end so it can make sense. So this is the Federal Bureau of Investigations, the FBI, as well as the United States Department of State. This is their memorandum to support their reasoning for getting the case dismissed or at least removing them from this wrongful death lawsuit. As I stated before, let me see. So they're moved to dismiss the verified amended complaint that was filed in the civil action on November 22nd, 2024 for a lack of subject matter jurisdiction pursuant to Federal Rules Civil Procedure 12 and failure to state a claim upon that same uh, rule of civil procedure. Introduction. So the civil case was initiated on October 28th, 2024 with the filing of a verified complaint in the Superior Court Division of Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, by Miss Robinson. I do not want to butcher her name. I believe it's Salamandra Robinson, individually and personal representative of the state of Shanquella Robinson. The verified complaint named the FBI and State Department as defendants. On November 14th, 2024, the United States appeared in the court and made a limited appearance on behalf of federal defendants to notice the federal removal of this action pursuant to Title 28 of the United States Code, Sections 1441 A, C, 1442 A, and then 1446. On November 22nd, 2024, plaintiff filed the amended complaint in this court. The amended complaint names the FBI and State Department as defendants and states that jurisdiction is proper pursuant to the North Carolina General Statute 1 through 82. The amended complaint seeks entry of an award of compensatory damages from the federal defendants based upon their alleged negligence in relation to the unaliving of Shanquella Robinson, which occurred in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, on October 29th, 2022. Amended complaint counts, 7 and 8, and at 13 through 14, prayer for relief. Plaintiff also seeks injunctive relief compelling the immediate release of records from the FBI. The amended complaint should be dismissed because the court lacks subject matter jurisdiction over all of the claims plaintiff seeks to assert against the federal defendants. Factual allegations. So the allegations of the amended complaint as they pertain to federal defendants are follows. Shanquella Robinson traveled to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico for a vacation in October 2022. She arrived at the Puerto Los Cabos Villa Linda in Mexico on October 28, 2022. The following day, on October 29th, 2022, six other individuals who were named as defendants in the civil action arrived at the villa. Shanquella Robinson was pronounced unalived at the villa in the presence of a medical personnel and the Cabo Six defendants. According to the autopsy report of the government of state of Baja California, sir, the cause of the unaliving of Shanquella Robinson was a spinal cord injury and atlas luxation. In November 2022, the FBI informed Salamandra Robinson that it opened an investigation into the unaliving of Shanquella Robinson. In April 2023, the FBI advised Salamandra Robinson, her family, and the public that no enforcement proceeding would commence and the agency would not be pursuing a federal prosecution of any of the Cabo Six defendants. A records request seeking FBI information pertaining to Shanquella Robinson was mailed in compliance with the Freedom of Information Act, which is known as FOIA, on August 31st, 2023. On September 28, 2023, the FBI advised that responsive records were exempt from disclosure under Title V of the United States Code, Section 552, Paragraph B7A, as expected to interfere with the enforcement proceeding. So pretty much what they're saying is because it was an open investigation, they were unable to provide any information that this is backwards. On May 10, 2024, a renewed records request was made. The FBI responded to that request and constructively denied the renewed request by stating that the estimated time of completion would be sometime within 2010 days, over 5 years. An appeal of this constructive denial was submitted and denied. The factual allegations section of the amended complaint states no allegation pertaining to the State Department. However, in the cause of action section, the amended complaint states that the Mexican government submitted an extradition request to the State Department for one of the Cabo Six defendants, and the State Department failed to forward the request to the Criminal Division's Office of Internal Affairs as required. So what they're saying is that they don't have a true claim that state the State Department was negligent. The only thing that they said was that um the Mexican government submitted an extradition request to the State Department, but that's not really a claim that they were negligent. It's just stating that they did something. Plaintiffs state that she presented timely notices of tort claims pursuant to the FTCA and all applicable federal regulations, given notice of the negligence caused by the acts or the omissions of the federal defendants. Oh man. All right, so causes of action. So, based on the foregoing allegations, plaintiff claims a cause of action against the Department of State for negligence. Plaintiff states that the Mexican government submitted an extradition request to the State Department for one of the Cabo 6 defendants, and the State Department failed to forward the request to the Criminal Division Office of International Affairs as required. Plaintiff claims that this failure has permitted international fugitive defendant Imani, aka Deja Jackson, or it was what's her name, Dejanay Jackson, to avoid facing legal proceedings for the unaliving she committed in Cabo's St. Lucas, Mexico. Plaintiff also claims cause of action against the FBI for negligence. Plaintiff claims that the FBI has non discretionary duty to investigate unalivings of American citizens that occur overseas. Plaintiff claims that the FBI breached this duty by failing to respond to the investigation with the appropriate seriousness and urgency, which led to the erosion and destruction of evidence. Specifically, plaintiff alleges that due to the FBI delay, the quality of the second autopsy completed by United States authorities was compromised, as Shanquella's body had been altered by embalming chemicals, decomposition, and the effects of being subject to a full autopsy by Mexican authorities. The FBI's inaction, plaintiff contests, has impeded Salamandra Robinson and her family's ability to receive closure and justice from the criminal prosecution of Shanquella Robinson's unaliver. Finally, plaintiff claims a cause of action against FBI under the FOIA for failure to promptly release records. The court lacks subject jurisdiction over all the plaintiff claims against the federal defendants. The amendment complaint should therefore be dismissed in its entirety pursuant to the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 12, Section B. Um, and this is the standard of review. If I read this, you guys are hold on, I have my notes. Let me pull up my notes. Um, okay. So to break down what Shanquella Robinson's mother is trying to say, the reason for this lawsuit, she's their claims. So first and foremost, let me see. The federal government, it sought dismissal based off of the lack of matter jurisdiction and for the failure to state a claim. Um Kind of going deeper into it, there's a discretionary function exception under the FTCA. Um, how can I say this? So they're putting the blame on the federal agencies such as the FBI and the U.S. Department of State, but not the actual employees that were handling the case, if that makes sense. So, for instance, um, the plaintiff claim, and I'm reading my notes. So the plaintiff claims that the FBI has a non-discretionary duty to investigate unalivings of American citizens occurring overseas, and alleges that there was negligence for failing to respond with appropriate seriousness and urgencies, which led to the destruction and the erosion of the evidence, right? So that's why they sought compensatory damages and injunctive relief, um, compelling that the release of records from the FBI. Um, Now, as far as the State Department, the plaintiff alleged that the State Department failed to forward that extradition request from the Mexican government to for the one of the Cabo Six, and we already know is Imani, to the Criminal Division Office of Internal Affairs as required. What the State Department or the government held, the US, what they're trying to say is the failure was that, let me see, this failure is claimed to have allowed the international fugitive defendant Imani to avoid facing legal proceedings for the unaliving committed in Cabo, Mexico. And so that is why she is also seeking compensatory damages because of the negligence of the State Department. Because when I first read this, I'm like, well, why didn't they send, like, if the Mexican government sent the extradition request to the State Department, why didn't the State Department do what they were supposed to do? And it's like they didn't care because it happened not in America. It happened somewhere else. So pretty much what the federal government is arguing is that their claims are barred by the discretionary function exception of the FTCA, and that the amended complaint that names both of them does not adequate, adequately allege any facts to support why that court should hear those claims. This is crazy. So, and I keep saying the FTCA. So, what the FTCA is, that's the Federal Tort Claims Act, which requires that the claimant first present their claims to the appropriate federal agency, and they have to receive a denial in writing or wait 6 months after filing the claim before initiating a lawsuit. Now, it does state that they sent the notice, and that's they will try to find any loophole to go through in order to get something dismissed. So it's just as little as these. Now they said, so what was, let me go back. What did it say that they did submit in a timely manner, if I'm not mistaken? I'm thinking I'm on live. Yeah, so plaintiff states that she presented timely notices of claim, tort claims pursuant to the FTCA. I have to see exactly when they did that, because here's the issue with that. When you're dealing with the government, it depends. Local, state, federal, you have a time period. It might be 30 days, it might be 60 days, it might be 90 days. So if they determine that the notice of tort claims was not received in a timely manner, they would dismiss that just because they were never put on notice. That's crazy. That is wild. Um, let's look at the declaration. So I believe we have a declaration for the employee who was working on the request at the FBI, and they also have a declaration for an employee that was working on a case from the State Department. So let's see what they had to say. So we have declaration of William Harris. He is the unit chief of discovery unit of the Federal Bureau of Investigations, Office of the General Counsel at the FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C. And he says, I have served in this capacity since March of 2023, and he has been employed with the FBI since September 1991. Let's see what it says. So it says the statements contained in this declaration are based upon my personal knowledge review. Okay, blah, 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 blah. I need to know exactly what. Okay. So, as his position, hold on, what is DU? That is the Discovery Unit. So, he's part of the Discovery Unit. So, the Discovery Unit 2 provides litigation support to other units within the OGC, as well as numerous other entities. They are responsible for locating, reviewing, and processing for release any and all responsive material which pertain to litigation and administrative matters in which the Bureau is either directly or indirectly involved. As the unit chief of the Discovery Unit, two, he's responsible for overseeing the paralegal specialists who locate, review, process, and produce documents related to variety of document production. So wow. So a paralegal is responsible. I'm a paralegal, but trust me, I would have done my job. I don't know what the case may be here and why this wasn't done. I have access to records contained in the FBI CRS. I am also personally familiar with the FBI records maintenance and retrieval system, because you remember They put in numerous amounts of requests. The first time they said that they couldn't provide them with the records was because the case was open. Then the second time they then I think they closed that case. I forgot. I have to go back. Hey, watch the prior the very first video I did for Shanquella Robinson. It's in the playlist. And it talks about how many times the mother has tried to obtain these records from the FBI. I can't remember. I have to go back and I have to write down my notes so I can remember. But it was so many times that they put in a request and she kept getting different answers as to why she can't get those records. Um, let's see. All records contained in the CRS are identifiable through the FBI's practice of indexing records to a particular subject matter or individual. Once indexed, a record pertaining to a particular subject matter or individual is retrievable through a search of general indexes to the CRS. In short, the CRS is the FBI's official system of records for all investigative, administrative, and official businesses of the agency. The CRS enables the FBI to maintain information it has acquired while fulfilling its mandated law enforcement responsibilities. The records maintained here consist of administrative, applicant, criminal, personnel, and other files compiled for law enforcement purposes. Searching the CRS is the means by which the FBI can determine what retrievable information, if any, the agency may have in its files on a particular subject matter or individual. As unit chief, I oversee the paralegal specialist who made a diligent search of the general indices or the indexes of the CRS as of December 16, 2024. A search of the CRS did not locate any claim submitted to the FBI on behalf of plaintiff Salamandra Robinson. However, the search located a letter to the FBI entitled October 25th, 2024, Notice of Intent to Sue Federal Bureau of Investigation. A true and correct copy of that letter, together with the envelope in which it was received, date stamped November 4th, 2024, is attached hereto as Exhibit A. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States of America that the foregoing is true and correct. This is hogwash. I can't cuss. This is hogwash because what? I have to go back and watch that video. It's gonna be in the playlist at the end of this video. But they submitted several FOIA requests. And pretty much in this declaration, what you're trying to tell us is the process, what all the CRS system, has. And when they did the search, they didn't find any of the requests that Salamandra Robinson submitted. All you got was the notice of intent to sue. What about and it's stated right here in so you didn't get the notice of torts? You didn't get any of that? That's a lie. Something's going on. Something is going on. And this is the letter. This is the letter that he's talking about, the intent to sue. That's hogwash. That is hogwash. All right, so who are you? So Christina Beard, she is the attorney advisor at the United States Department. Let's see what lies she's going to tell. All administrative tort claims under the Federal Tort Claims Act pertaining to the Department of State's activity are handled by the Office of the Legal Advisor and the Office of International Claims and Investment Disputes. I have access to the electronic database and paper files concerning administrative claims filed under the Federal Tort Claims Act, which are maintained by the Department of State in the ordinary course of business. I have searched or asked others in my office to search all available tort claim records and found there is no evidence that the plaintiff has filed an administrative claim with our office under the Federal Tort Claims Act. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm silent because I'm upset. What they are trying to say is that Miss Salamandra Robinson did not put them on notice that she was going to file suit against the state. So I'm assuming the FBI got the notice, but the U.S. State Department, or well, the U.S. Department of State did not get the notice. The FBI is also saying that Miss Robinson did not put any request in to obtain information or records. The only thing y'all found in your system was the notice to file suit. Everything that has been alleged in that complaint when the lawsuit was first initiated, I'm pretty sure these I pray that her lawyers come with receipts, because that is the only thing that is going to save this case. As I stated before, I don't know if they are trying to dismiss the whole lawsuit or if they're just trying to get out of the lawsuit, and only leave the Cabo Six to fend for themselves. But as of right now, the FBI and the U.S. State Department is saying that, well, it's two different things that's going on. The FBI is saying that they never received any request for getting records. That's number one. Now, they said a totally different thing in their answer, but I'm not even going to get to that. And then the State Department is saying that although the FBI was put on notice, we weren't put on notice. There's nothing, there's no notice in our system, because if they do find out that it wasn't sent to them, though, that can cause for them to be non-suited from this case. If the FBI, if they did receive that notice of claim and it was in a timely manner, then they would have to, they could stay in the lawsuit. They would have to stay in the lawsuit. But if they find that the notice of intent or putting them on notice was not received in a timely manner, then they can be non-suited from the case, or the case could be dismissed. Like I said, I don't truly know what they're trying to do, because it would make sense that they would just not non-suit, the court would just dismiss the federal agencies and just keep the Cabo Six. But what are you really gaining from? Because it is a wrongful unaliving case. And normally in this, we would have to go after their insurance. So if they had any type of insurance, we would go after the insurance company. But what's the likelihood that they have any assets, any insurance to pay for any type of claims that Miss Robinson is seeking? That is why she included the Federal Bureaus of Investigation and the U.S. Department of State, is because those are the entities that were negligent. They failed to do their job. But now they're trying to find a loophole to get out of it. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments below. Definitely don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until then, you all be blessed, and I'm out. Bye.